Welcome, brave souls, to our channel dedicated to the darkest tales ever told. Tonight we delve into the chilling depths of horror with a story that will send shivers down your spine. Get ready to be gripped by fear and terror, because this is not just any horror story, this is a real-life nightmare. Welcome to our channel, where the line between fiction and reality blurs, and the truth is more terrifying than you can imagine. As I sit here recalling the events of that bone-chilling New Year's Eve, a shiver runs down my spine. It was meant to be a festive celebration, a time of joy and merriment, but what unfolded at that remote cabin in the woods was something straight out of a nightmare. It all began when my friends and I decided to rent a cabin for New Year's Eve, eager to escape the hustle and bustle of the city and ring in the new year surrounded by nature. The cabin was nestled deep in the woods, far from civilization, with nothing but towering trees and the sounds of wildlife for company. As we arrived at the cabin, excitement bubbled within us. We unloaded our belongings and settled in, ready to enjoy a weekend of relaxation and revelry. Little did we know our idyllic getaway would soon descend into terror. The first signs of trouble came that evening as we gathered around the fireplace, sipping on hot cocoa and sharing stories. A strange noise echoed through the cabin, a low, guttural growl that sent chills down our spines. We laughed it off, attributing it to the wind or perhaps a curious animal outside. But as the night wore on, the noises grew louder and more frequent, each one more sinister than the last. Shadows danced along the walls, and an oppressive sense of dread settled over us like a suffocating blanket. It was as if the very air around us was charged with malevolence. Then, just as the clock struck midnight and we raised our glasses to toast the new year, all hell broke loose. The cabin was plunged into darkness, the power flickering out as if snuffed by an unseen force. Panic seized us as we fumbled for flashlights, our hearts pounding in our chests. That's when we saw it, a figure lurking in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. It moved with an unnatural grace, its movements fluid and sinuous. Fear gripped us as we realized we were not alone in the cabin. Something was watching us, something ancient and hungry. With trembling hands, we huddled together, praying for dawn to break and rescue us from this nightmare. But the night seemed to stretch on endlessly, each minute dragging by like an eternity. The creature prowled around the cabin, its presence looming over us like a dark cloud. As the first light of dawn finally broke through the trees, the creature vanished into the forest, leaving us shaken but alive. We wasted no time packing our belongings and fleeing from the cabin, vowing never to return to that cursed place again. To this day, the memory of that New Year's Eve haunts me, a reminder of the darkness that lurks in the depths of the woods. So the next time you venture into the wilderness, beware, for in the silence of the forest, something ancient and malevolent may be waiting, ready to claim its next victim. As I sit here, the memories of that chilling encounter still send shivers down my spine. It was a normal evening like any other, or so I thought, until I stumbled upon something that would haunt me for the rest of my days: the shadow in the attic. It all began when my family moved into our new home, a quaint old house with a history as mysterious as it was charming. From the moment we stepped foot inside, I felt a sense of unease, as if the walls themselves were watching us with silent, judging eyes. But as weeks turned into months, we settled into our new life, the strange vibes of the house fading into the background noise of everyday life. That is, until that fateful night when curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to explore the attic. The attic had always held a certain allure for me, a hidden realm of forgotten treasures and secrets waiting to be uncovered. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and a sense of adventure, I climbed the creaky stairs and pushed open the attic door. At first, everything seemed normal: dusty boxes piled high, old furniture draped in moth-eaten sheets. But as I ventured deeper into the attic, a feeling of dread washed over me, as if I were being watched by unseen eyes. That's when I saw it, a shadow lurking in the far corner of the attic, its form shifting and twisting like smoke in the wind. I froze in terror, my heart hammering in my chest as I watched the shadowy figure creep closer, its movement slow and deliberate. I tried to scream, to call out for help, but no sound escaped my lips. It was as if the very air around me had turned to ice, choking off my voice and paralyzing me with fear. All I could do was watch in horror as the shadow drew nearer, its presence filling the attic with a suffocating darkness. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the shadow vanished, leaving me alone in the silence of the attic. I stumbled backwards, my mind reeling with disbelief at what I had witnessed. Had it been a trick of the light, a figment of my imagination? Or had I truly come face to face with something beyond the realm of the living? I fled from the attic, my heart pounding in my chest as I raced downstairs to safety. But even as I locked the attic door behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow was still there, lurking just beyond the threshold, waiting for its next victim. To this day, I dare not venture into the attic alone, for fear of what I might find lurking in the shadows. The memory of that night still haunts me, a constant reminder that some mysteries are best left unsolved, and some horrors are better left undisturbed. As I sit here, the memories of that eerie night come flooding back, sending a chill down my spine. It was just an ordinary evening, much like any other, until I found myself face to face with the inexplicable horrors that lurked within the walls of the house on Willow Street. It all began when I received a call from a friend, Alex, who claimed to have stumbled upon a hidden gem, a rundown house in the heart of our sleepy town that was rumored to be haunted. Being the thrill-seeker that I am, I jumped at the chance to explore the unknown, eager to uncover the truth behind the whispered tales. As we approached the house, a sense of foreboding washed over me. The once grand mansion loomed before us, its windows boarded up and its facade crumbling with age. We hesitated for a moment, exchanging nervous glances, before summoning the courage to step inside. The air inside the house was thick with dust and decay, the silence broken only by the sound of our footsteps echoing through the empty halls. We explored every room, our hearts pounding in our chests as we searched for signs of the supernatural. But it wasn't until we reached the attic that things took a sinister turn. As we climbed the creaking stairs, a feeling of dread settled over me, as if some unseen presence was watching our every move. When we reached the top, we found ourselves standing before a locked door, its surface adorned with strange symbols and sigils. Ignoring the warning signs, we forced the door open, revealing a room bathed in an eerie green light. The air was thick with a foul stench, and a sense of unease settled over us like a heavy blanket. It was then that we saw her, a ghostly figure standing in the corner, her eyes hollow and empty. Panic surged through me as I realized we had stumbled upon something beyond our understanding. We turned to flee, but the door slammed shut behind us, trapping us in the darkness with the malevolent spirit. With trembling hands, we searched for a way out, but the walls seemed to shift and warp, leading us in circles. Desperation clawed at my throat as I struggled to find a way to escape the house's clutches. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Alex stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed behind a tapestry. With a renewed sense of urgency, we followed the passage to freedom, emerging into the cold night air with our hearts pounding in our chests. As we looked back at the house on Willow Street, I knew that we had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. The memory of that night still haunts me, a reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of the unknown. So the next time you're tempted to explore the abandoned, remember this cautionary tale. Because in the darkness, there are things that should never be disturbed.